What we're going to do in this lesson is to split up the markup of the mobile navigation into several components, just like we have done to the main navigation. In particular, we're going to create separate components to represent individual mobile nav items. So let's get going. The first thing that I'm going to do is to open up app header mobile nav component. Here we can find the markup of individual mobile nav item. Let's cut this markup from here and use new component app header mobile nav item. I'm going to create new file with the same name for this component. And right here, let's paste the markup for the individual nav item. And of course, every nav item is about to show different text. So I'm going to use default slot component, which will give us an option to pass the text from outside. So right here, in between opening and closing text of this component, I'm going to pass the text for this nav item library, which is going to be injected onto the place where slot component is used. Next, I'm going to duplicate this component to show the second nav item, which will say login. And as for the third nav item, since it looks much different, I'm about to do the same what I have done to the main navigation. Let's just open up app header nav item component, which represents individual nav item of the main navigation. And as you can see right here, we were declaring link classes prop in order to accept custom classes for nav item links. So let's take this definition and use it inside the app header mobile nav item component, because we're going to use custom styles for some mobile nav items as well. So the default classes for mobile nav items will be different. I'm going to use this list of classes instead of the previous ones for this link classes prop. And now, where we're going to use the third mobile nav item, at the same time we're also going to pass link classes prop, which is going to contain custom CSS classes to override styles of the last mobile nav item. Alright, before checking this out in the browser, let's rename the text used within the third mobile nav item. It should say sign up. And now if we'll take a look in the browser, sure enough, we're going to see that all mobile nav items are represented by individual Vue components. But that's not all. We can also extract another part into its own component. I'm talking about the buttons to open up and close mobile navigation. So these buttons can also be represented by individual Vue components. Let's find the markup of those buttons in this file. It is right here. So I'm going to cut the first markup and use new button component called app header mobile nav button. So let's create new file for this component. In here I will add template tag and paste markup for this component. And just because this component is going to be reused twice for button to open up mobile navigation as well as to close mobile navigation, we're gonna have to accept prop called icon, which will be a string, and this is going to be used to show proper icon for each of those buttons. So I'm going to pass it further into the name prop of an icon component right here. And right away, let's get back to the app header mobile nav component and pass this icon prop into every such component. In the first case, the icon prop will be bars, and in the second one, it will be X mark. This is what our aliases for a particular icons are called. Actually, there are a couple more things that we have to do in order to make those components work properly, and that is assign particular classes to every button component, because, for example, the second button should be hidden by default because mobile navigation is initially hidden. So I'm going to assign class called hidden to the second button right here. And as for the first component, it should also contain a couple of classes which should not be present on the second button. So let's just extract a couple of classes from here and apply it directly to the first button. And there is also one more class. Let's get back to the app header mobile nav button component and extract the following class. And in this particular case, it is really important to use proper href attributes with certain values because our mobile navigation relies on them. So for the first button, I'm going to specify href attribute with a value of now, and for the second button, the attribute will say hash. That's all. And Vue is going to automatically assign these attributes to the root element of those components. Alright, the only thing is left to do is to actually check if everything is working properly. So I'm gonna open up mobile navigation. As you can see, it functions properly, and now individual elements of mobile now are represented by individual Vue components. Buttons are represented by UpHeader Mobile Now button component, and every now item is represented by UpHeader Mobile Now item component. That's about it for this lesson. We'll continue development in the next one.